Jeffrey Epstein was not a celebrity, an elected official, or a household name for most of his life. Yet his case exposed how wealth, power, and social access can distort justice on a massive scale. This video explains who Jeffrey Epstein was, how he built his influence, how the abuse happened in plain sight, and why the case still matters years after his death. To understand Epstein, it helps to start with what we know and what we still do not. Epstein was born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York. He came from a middle-class Jewish family and showed early aptitude in math and science. After college, he briefly taught at the elite Dalton School in Manhattan, despite lacking a degree. One of his students was the son of a Bear Stearns executive. That connection changed his life. By the late 1970s, Epstein was working at Bear Stearns. His role was limited and he did not stay long, but he quickly began presenting himself as a financial genius who managed money for the ultra-wealthy. Exactly how he made his fortune remains unclear. Epstein claimed he worked exclusively for billionaires and handled sensitive financial strategies. There is little public evidence to fully verify this. What is clear is that Epstein successfully embedded himself into elite social circles. He cultivated relationships with politicians, scientists, royalty, and business leaders. He donated to universities. He hosted lavish dinners. He flew people on his private jet. These relationships became his shield. By the 1990s and early 2000s, Epstein owned multiple properties, including a Manhattan mansion, a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, a ranch in New Mexico, and a residence in Palm Beach, Florida. It was in Palm Beach that the pattern of abuse became visible. Local police began receiving reports that Epstein was paying underage girls for sexual acts at his mansion. The victims were often recruited by other girls who had already been abused. Many came from vulnerable backgrounds. Some were as young as 14. In 2005, Palm Beach police launched an investigation. Detectives interviewed dozens of victims. The evidence suggested a systematic operation of exploitation and trafficking. Police recommended felony charges, but the case did not proceed as expected. In 2008, Epstein reached a secret plea deal with federal prosecutors. Instead of facing federal charges, he pled guilty to state charges of soliciting prostitution. He served 13 months in a county jail, but was allowed to leave 6 days a week for work. The deal also granted immunity to potential co-conspirators. Most of the victims were not informed. This agreement was approved by Alexander Acosta, then the U.S. Attorney for South Florida. Years later, Acosta said he was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and that the case should be handled carefully. That claim has never been proven. What the plea deal represented was not just leniency. It demonstrated how legal outcomes can change when defendants have money, connections, and skilled lawyers. After his release, Epstein was required to register as a sex offender, but his lifestyle largely continued. He traveled internationally, he socialized with powerful figures, he donated to research institutions. For nearly a decade, the case faded from public attention. That changed in 2018 and 2019 when investigative reporting brought Epstein back into the spotlight. Journalists uncovered the details of the plea deal and documented the experiences of the victims who had been ignored. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested for federal charges of sex trafficking minors. This time, prosecutors pursued a far more serious case. The indictment alleged Epstein recruited and abused dozens of girls across multiple states and countries. He pled not guilty. Epstein was held in a Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York, a federal jail with a history of staffing and oversight problems. On August 10, 2019, he was found dead in his cell. The official ruling was suicide by hanging. Almost immediately, skepticism spread. Epstein had previously been placed on suicide watch. Security cameras malfunctioned. Guards reportedly fell asleep. Epstein was one of the most high-profile detainees in the country, yet basic procedures failed. Multiple investigations concluded there was no evidence of homicide. Still, distrust remains. The circumstances reinforced public belief that powerful people rarely face full accountability. Epstein's death ended the criminal case against him, but it did not end the legal consequences for others. Civil lawsuits continued. In 2022, Epstein's estate agreed to a settlement that created a fund for victims. In 2023, longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in recruiting and trafficking minors. Maxwell's conviction confirmed what victims had long said: Epstein did not operate alone. Yet many questions remain unanswered. Epstein's connections included former presidents, royalty, tech leaders, and academics. Being photographed with Epstein does not imply criminal behavior, but it raises questions about access and accountability. Who knew what and when remains unclear. No comprehensive public list of clients or co-conspirators has been produced. Prosecutors have said they lacked sufficient evidence to bring further charges. Critics argue that the scope of the investigation was too limited. The Epstein case is often reduced to speculation and conspiracy. That focus can obscure what is already proven. We know that dozens of girls were exploited over many years. We know that local and federal authorities failed to act decisively when evidence was available. We know that wealth and social status played a role in delaying justice. The broader significance of the case lies there. Epstein's story is not just about one man. It's about systems that protect powerful offenders. It's about how victims from marginalized backgrounds struggle to be believed. It's about legal discretion operating behind closed doors. It also highlights the importance of investigative journalism. Without persistent reporting, Epstein's plea deal and its implications might never have been publicly scrutinized. There is a temptation to look for a dramatic ending or a single hidden truth, but the reality is more structural and more unsettling. Epstein was able to operate because institutions failed at multiple levels. Schools, financial firms, prosecutors, and social networks all provided legitimacy without asking difficult questions. His death closed one chapter, but left unresolved issues that continue to shape discussions around abuse, consent, and accountability. The question the Epstein case leaves behind is not just who else was involved. It's whether systems designed to deliver justice can function when confronted by concentrated wealth and influence. That question remains unanswered, and that's why the story still matters.